Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. You know, here we educate, motivate, and inspire you to excel in every area of your life. Today I'm going to talk to you about your personal credit. Have you pulled your credit report? There is something wrong on your credit report. So today I'm going to look at some items that could be on your credit report that's hindering your credit report, some inaccurate information, or your personal information is inaccurate. So today we're going to look at some things that are inaccurate or incorrect on your credit report. That's why it's so important that you pull your credit report. You know, I hear people talking all the time, oh, I need to pull my credit is bad, or my credit score, I applied for this loan and I couldn't get the loan, I tried to get a car and they said my credit, but you never pull your credit report. You get a letter in the mail, your denial letter, all you have to do is just mail it in and they'll send you a copy of your credit report. So let's make an effort, let's get to work and let's pull our credit report. And once you pull your credit report, you can then begin to work on and identify the things that's hindering your credit file and your credit score. So now let's look at some of the things that could be inaccurate on your credit file. The first thing is your personal information. But before we get into that, let me mention this also. You can, if you get a free credit report every year from annualcreditreport.com. If you have not pulled your credit report this year, you can go to annualcreditreport.com and get a free copy of your credit report from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So there is no excuse for you not to have your credit report and know what's on your credit report. And even if you have pulled your credit report earlier this year and you didn't do anything with it, you still can go back to Annual Credit Report. You just have to pay for each report from each bureau. I'm not exactly sure of the cost, but if you go to annualcreditreport.com, you can find out that information. I recommend annualcreditreport.com because they break down the credit report. Every creditor, the name of the creditor, the date that it was reported, the balance owed, balance due. Is just more thorough. That's why I recommend that you get your credit report from annualcreditreport.com, and I'll leave a link to their website in the description below. Okay, let's get started and take a look at some of the things that are inaccurate or could be inaccurate on your credit report. First thing is your personal information. You can believe that there is inaccurate information on your credit reports regarding your personal information. I'm sure that your name probably misspelled, or they have several AKAs of your name, so you want to make sure that they have the correct spelling and the correct way that you present your name, whether it's your first, middle, and last name, or it's just your first and last name, and you want to make sure that it's correct. Secondly, your current address. When I pulled my credit report, there were addresses on there that I hadn't lived at in years, and then there was addresses that didn't even belong to me. So you want to make sure that you check your name and then you check the addresses. You only want the most current information under your personal information. Also, your employer, that's probably all the employers that you've ever worked for are probably listed. So you want to make sure that information is accurate also. Your phone number, you want to make sure that information. Your date of birth, you want to verify all of that information. So you want to make a clean sweep of your personal information. The correct spelling of your name, your most current address, your most current employer, your date of birth. So you want to make sure that all of that information is correct. So when you get to the next step of like disputing something that may be on your credit report, your personal information is there. You want less information as possible when the credit bureau is trying to verify creditors for you. So make sure that your personal information is most current, okay? The second thing that you want to take a look at is accounts. You want to make sure that all of the accounts that's reported on your credit file are correct. There could be inaccurate accounts that does not even belong to you, accounts that may have been already closed, like a loan or something, or it could be past the statute of limitation limit. So you want to make sure that the accounts are current. Okay, and there's no duplicate accounts. Sometimes it could be reported twice. So you want to make sure that you're checking the accounts, making sure that the accounts are correct and make sure that the account belongs to you. Secondly, thirdly, your payment history, making sure that all of the payments are reported accurately. They could have a late payment on there and you were never late. And believe me, that will drop your score tremendously. So you want to make sure that you're checking for the payment history, making sure that all of the payment history is reported accurately, making sure that there's no late pays when you've paid on time. So you want to make sure that that information is correct. Next, your credit limit. You have a credit card and your credit limit might have started off at $1,000. And then just recently you got an increase. They increased your limit to $2,000, but the credit bureau is still reporting $1,000. And you want to make sure that's accurate also, because when you raise your credit limit, then that's helping to reduce utilization. In our previous times together, I talked about you want to keep your utilization low on your credit card. So you want to make sure that the credit balances are reported accurately, okay? Next is the inquiries. This is a big one because the inquiries, I think it's like 10% of your credit score, but you don't want too many inquiries on your credit report because it looks like you're desperate. You're just trying to get some credit anywhere. And if you've ever been to a car dealership where you've been trying to get a credit, they run your credit and one creditor deny you, and then without your permission, they just run your credit through all of these different banks. So all of those banks are on your credit report and you did not authorize that dealership, that original dealership that you went to run that through those other creditors. So you want to check your inquiries, and that is an item that you can dispute. Believe it or not, once you get those inquiries off, that can boost your credit score. So make sure that you check for those inquiries, because there could be a lot of different creditors on there that you're not even familiar with. You never applied, you never signed a contract for them to run your credit report. So that is an item that you definitely want to check, is your inquiries, okay? Public records, that is foreclosures, bankruptcies. If you've never filed a bankruptcy, you never foreclosed on anything, make sure that the public records section of your credit report is clean. And if there's something on there that you're not familiar with, you don't know about it, then you want to make sure that you check your public records. That could be something that you could dispute. Okay, so make sure that you check those inquiries, because that is 10% of your credit score. So make sure that you check those inquiries. If you see an inquiry that you did not authorize for them to pull your credit, you can dispute that, okay? And next is what we want to look at is your credit balances. I think I talked about your balances. You want to make sure that your balances are correct. You could have paid a creditor off. You could have just paid the balance off, but the credit bureaus are still showing a balance owed on the report. So you want to make sure that your balances are accurate also, okay? Next is outdated information. You want to make sure that outdated information that could have been on your report past the 7 years. So you want to make sure that that information is not still reporting on your credit report. So let's just briefly go over this again. First thing we want to do is check our personal information. You want the most current information under your personal information. Your correct name, the correct spelling of your name, your most current address, your most current employer, your date of birth. Next is account errors. You want to make sure that there's not any accounts on your report that's reporting that is not your account, or the information is inaccurate, the balance is inaccurate. We talked about the balance. We're looking at the credit limit. We want to make sure that the credit limit is correct. You could have a higher credit limit and they're still reporting an old credit limit. So you want to make sure that's correct so that you are watching your utilization. Also, your inquiries, which I stated is very important. You want to make sure that the inquiries that's on your credit report, you authorize those inquiries. So if you see some inquiries that you don't recall authorizing for them to pull your credit, then you can dispute that, and that can help raise your credit report also. Outdated information, want to make sure that all the information on your credit report is accurate and it's up to date. public records. You want to check the public records, making sure there's nothing under the public records that's hindering your credit report and your credit scores, like bankruptcy, foreclosure. You just never know. It could be on your credit report and you don't know. So that's why it's very important to pull your credit report, because there is some inaccurate information on your credit report, okay? And finally, I always like to leave you with the positive. There is a credit card. It's a secured card, and it is a credit builder. If you have poor to fair credit, I recommend that you get a credit builder's credit card to boost your score. This is a secured card. It's Supplied Bank, the gold card, but it is a secured card. You can put $200 on that card. Yes, I said $200. You can find a way to get $200 to help build your credit reports. Don't go out to eat. Instead of going out to eat or buying those shoes, invest in yourself and improve your credit. It's Supplied Bank. It's a gold card. It's a $200 secure deposit. Put that on. So you put the $200 deposit down. You use that card. Remember, we talked about the utilization. You want to use the card, $200 limit. You want to keep it at a 30% utilization, so you don't want to charge over $60 at one time. You use that card, get you some gas, $60 or whatever you need to do, and then you pay that card down. If you want to pay it within the 30-day period, that is great. So that means that you're getting more payments in and your score can increase faster. So that is Applied Bank Gold credit card. I will leave link down in the description below, but it is a good credit building card. I used that card years ago when I was rebuilding my credit. So it is a good credit card. It does report to all 3 credit bureaus, and there is not a pool on your credit report. So they just based it on your identity, your name, and they are able to verify you by your name and your address, and then your $200 security deposit. So it is a great card to rebuild, to get your credit scores up. So if you have poor to fair credit, I recommend this credit building credit card. It is, again, Applied Bank Gold card, and I will leave the link below in the description. So hey, let's go out there and let's get it. Enjoy your day.